like to call the regular Planning Commission meeting of March 22nd to order at 6 p.m. Clerk, please take roll.
Commissioner Sajo,
Present.
Commissioner Seals,
Present.
Commissioner Bushnell,
Present.
Commissioner Burney is absent and excused. We do have a quorum.
All right. Commissioner Seals, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, does the commission have any adjustments to tonight's meeting agenda?
None at this time.
If the commission would like to discuss anything under the consent agenda, such as the minutes, they will need to be pulled out and put under this business under new business at this time. All right. Hearing no changes to the agenda will stand as presented. Time for reports. Do we have a report from, I'm looking at not many people over there with you. So I'm going to skip, is this city attorney online?
I am. I have nothing to report right now.
Okay. And city planner?
The only thing to report, and I think we'll just put it out there, that Commissioner Rubio was appointed to fill the vacancy on the city council, so she's no longer serving on the planning commission. So
Has she been approved yet?
Yes, she's already been.
Okay, so.
Yes. Yeah, it was, I think it was that night they did the swearing in or something, so, yeah, it was pretty quick, they stole her right away. So the mayor's actively looking for a replacement to fill that seat, but keep you posted as we move forward. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Actually, could you brief us on how we're moving forward to appointing people to the commission or to the committee for the landscaping?
Yes. So we put out the notice, there were advertisements, it's posted on the web, and we reached out to individuals and groups to try and get people to apply for that commission. We have received some applications. We still have the need for someone to fill the developer slot, or property owner slot, for someone who's dealt with the process in the past, the landscape.
Mr. Martin from Whistle Chiropractic? Valley Chiropractic on Main Street would like to be part of the process.
Okay, then if you are in touch with him, or I can reach out to him, the application is online on the city website under the clerks. There's a committee section, and you just need to put it out.
We'll let him know, because he's been through the overlay process, and he's been through the sign process, and he's been through several versions of the code process.
Okay. And then the other one that we're looking for is at least another landscape architect. We have one firm that has volunteered 2 individuals, but we're looking to get some ideas from another landscape firm. So it's my understanding that they extended the deadline and they're still accepting applications. And then the mayor will do interviews, so it looks like it's probably going to be into April before those happen and they can get confirmed, maybe even May. So we'll be looking for it this summer.
Okay. All right. So, there's no other reports at this point in time. We'll start the public participation. Anyone wishing to step forward to discuss anything that is not on the agenda. One second. All right. So, anyone wishing to step forward to discuss anything that's not on the agenda tonight, you may do so at this point in time. We do ask that when you step forward, that you write your information on the sign-up sheet, state for the record your name, and whether or not you live inside the city limits. All right, seeing that we do not have anybody wishing to do any public testimony this evening, we are going to move to our consent agenda. I need a motion from the commission to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Seals makes a motion to accept the consent agenda. Approved.
Commissioner Sajal seconds.
All right, and the motion's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved as presented. Oh, I love this part. It'd be March. We need an election of the chair and vice chair for 2022. Just so you know, municipal code says that whoever was the chair before cannot be a chair again. Correct? That's correct, City Attorney? Just kidding.
I just pulled it up.
Good try.
I don't think it's in there.
At this time, the floor is open to nominations for the chair.
Commissioner Seals nominates Commissioner Bushnell.
When is my post up?
December.
In December? So it would be really wise for somebody else to be the chair for training moving into the next year. At least have a couple months of under the belt. I'll accept the nomination. Is there any other nominations for the chair? All right. Is there a nomination for the vice chair?
Commissioner Sajal nominate Commissioner Seals,
To be the
Vice Chair.
vice chair, does Commissioner Seals accept?
I accept.
All right. Is there any objections to the nominations for chair and vice chair at this time? Hearing no objections, then nominations are closed. And the vote. Since there's no objections, the chair will be Eric Bushnell and the vice chair will be David Seals. You guys could have nominated Bernie. He's not here. Just for the record.
I don't go that way.
All right. Mrs. Crawford, would you please introduce our item number 1 and provide the staff report?
Sure. For the record, Tina Crawford, City Planner. Item number 1 under public hearings is conditional use number 22-01. Should reflect Reso 22-01 instead of 21-01. The applicant is Pat Eder with the design company. The owner of the parcel is Steam Commons, but the owner of the business is Midas. The request is approval to construct a new Midas Auto Service Center. It's 11,849 square feet. The unit area is 1.07 acres plus or minus. It's Unit 4 in the Steam Commons condominium plat, addressed at 1032 East Steam Commons Avenue. It is zone commercial. In your package, you have the staff report, you have maps showing the location of the property, you have all of the drawings that show the landscape and site plan. There's also some roadway improvement plans that are included in there, elevations, traffic impact analysis, it's all in your package. The staff report is on page 7 through 14. There are 21 general approval criteria that the Planning Commission has to find that the application is consistent with. With the conditions of approval that are proposed, staff finds that it meets all the criteria and recommends approval. I'm just going to call out briefly the criteria that have conditions tied to them, or there might be some conversation about. On page 8, on criterion number 7, it's at the bottom of 7, the actual findings on the top of 9. It has to do with traffic. So the finding is that the criterion is met with the approval of the conditions requiring development consistent with the approved TIA, traffic impact analysis, and the City of Wacilla's condition regarding access to the site. The city's condition requires submittal of a plan and an update to the condominium plat showing an extension of the existing private easement to the western lot line and dedication of a 60-foot wide public right-of-way with a public road connecting the private easement to the Palmer-Wasilla Highway extension, and then construction of that road within that right-of-way prior to occupancy. So with those required improvements, it is consistent with that criteria and won't create unsafe traffic conditions or impact that light that's there at Roberts.
Mrs. Crawford, this is Commissioner Bushnell. Is this the same access point that has been addressed in other construction, like when we were dealing with the last?
Yes, it is. It's the same condition that was applied to Firehouse Subs, which was on Unit 3. And so if you look in your package on page 17, you'll see that east-west is basically a private access drive. And then heading north to south is where that roadway is supposed to be. And you can see the connection to the Palmer-Wasilla Highway with the turn lane, so now right in, right out. From the east, and then a left-hand turn lane in from the west. The only thing that this plan is showing differently than the condition is, the condition requires a 60-foot wide public right-of-way with the road built to city standards. The developer is proposing that it be a 40-foot non-exclusive road easement. And that's not consistent with the condition of approval that was done with Firehouse Subs, and therefore the condition is continuing forward with a 60-foot wide right-of-way. There's a couple reasons for that. The biggest one being at this point in time, we don't have any kind of documentation in front of us as to how that would be maintained, who would be responsible for it if it's left as a private, non-exclusive access easement, as far as snow plows, for potholes, for paving, for any of that kind of maintenance. So when we dealt with Firehouse Subs, the point was to have it be a public right-of-way. The city would take over ownership and so that it would be available at all times, guaranteed to the public to utilize. It's not that there can't be an alternative plan that could do it as a non-exclusive, but we don't have any documentation at this point in time to show how that would function. It would have to be a legal document, all of that. The condominium plat would have to reflect that. So at this point in time, we're moving forward with the recommendation as is, and would recommend that if the applicant wants to work with the city to find an alternative way to do it, they could do that in the meantime and then come back with an amendment. So that's a recommendation for that one. Criteria number 11, which is at the bottom of page 9 with its findings on the top of page 10, is the one that you have a motion, a draft motion that's handed out to you tonight. There was an error in that finding and in the condition of approval. You'll see it called out in your amendment. There was an oversight when this was drafted. They do show their stormwater, but they do not need to submit a plan updating it. So that's just a motion to correct that language in the resolution. So it is met. Let's see, the next one is in criterion 12, again on page 10. It again talks about that 60-foot wide public right-of-way. There's also a note about wall signage. Although this approval is not granting any kind of approval for wall signage, wanted to let the applicant be aware and have it in the record that what they're proposing on the side facing the Palmer-Wasilla Highway extends above the roof line, which is not allowed in the code for a wall sign. So again, it's just there as a notation. On page 11, landscaping, there are some minor things that need to be done to make the landscape code consistent with the plan with the Title 16. So condition of approval is a proposed that says that they have to submit one that meets all the requirements. There wasn't anything substantive or we would have dealt with it ahead of time, but it's some minor changes and they're aware, the landscape architect is aware of what that is. So with that being said, again, it's found that with those conditions, dealing with the right-of-way and the updated plans, that this is consistent and recommend approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do any commission members have any questions for the planner at this point in time?
No questions.
All right, thank you. At this point in time, we'd like to invite the applicant to step forward and make a presentation on the proposed request.
Hello, I'm Pat Eder, an architect with the design company. This project was actually approved 2 years ago, first time.
Is the microphone picking? Is your microphone on, sir?
Is the red light on the side?
It'd be right down here at the base. No, not that, on the microphone itself. There's a little white button. At the very
Down
base,
at
right-
the-
See where my hand is? Right here.
Yeah, behind the,
Oh, your speaker, here, sorry.
Oh, all right, thanks. Yeah, this project was here 2 years ago, almost to the day, and was approved, and then the pandemic hit, and it was postponed. So, most everything, there's nothing here other than the access road on the west side. We went through a long traffic impact analysis on this project, and the owner thought he understood from one of the last meetings that a non-exclusive road easement, 40 feet wide, would be an adequate public access to the properties around, especially the property to the west. He was a little disappointed when he saw this. I know you approved it on the Firehouse Subs project. Unfortunately, the Steam Commons, people weren't aware of that because they had sold that lot, and that was the owner of the lot who ran that through here. And he postponed the project and didn't tell us about the requirements that were on this. We're a little disappointed because the TIA was approved in July of last year, and it would have been nice if the city had given us what their requirements were going to be, because it's not what Todd Nugent understood at the teleconference they had in May when they broke it up into a Phase 1 and Phase 2 TIA so that they could get the Phase 1 going. And he asked his question, and they indicated. The problem is, I guess, is that it was DOT was there, and the city was there, and the traffic engineer that was hired by Todd Nugent, and I don't know who it is that said, yeah, it's fine, it's a good idea. It could have been the state. But, it would have been nice to find this out. I mean, he's always proposed that he would be building this road, and that the Steam Commons Condo Association would be maintaining all the roads, parking lots, landscaping throughout the project. And he feels that, having to provide a 60-foot public right-of-way, it's just a little bit more property that he has to give up, and thinks that the property to the west, which is over 60 acres, should be providing some of this right-of-way. We talked with him this morning. Sounded like he would be willing to record a public use easement, but still he only wanted it to be 40 feet wide. He was more than willing to build the road, and he intended to build it to city specs, but it sounds like there's a lot more agreements possibly required, and I'm not sure which way to go as to get an approval here tonight so they could begin the construction and then try to work out an amendment for later on the road. I'm not sure that Todd was aware that the city was going to maintain, but I'm not sure how they're gonna hit at this corner in the back and who's gonna stop where and do what. Sometimes you can't read the owner's mind. Otherwise, I don't think there was anything else on the project. Looked like it was gonna be very simple. There is one other issue in the northwest corner of the property. It's fairly low. It turns out that that's kind of a wetlands in that one corner, and it's going to turn out to
It's
be.
kind of a wetlands, or it is a wetlands?
Well, you know, it's not connected to anything. It's sort of a.
Has an assessment been done?
It hasn't. On the other hand, whoever cleared this property, I don't think legally, pushed up a lot of overburden in big piles around it. So they have to clean out all those. They're proposing that they'll put in a retention infiltration basin in that back area. Not quite sure how big it'll be. It looks like it's almost an acre. It'll be just inside the curve where it transitions down. I don't know if that would cause any more issues. So I guess it's, if there's anything, questions you have for me?
At this point, we're going to open it up for public comment, and then we'll invite you back up to respond to anything that the public has had said. And I'm sure that the commission members may have a question or two at that point in time, but we're going to allow for public comment first.
All right,
And then
thank you.
invite you back up. Thank you. The public comment portion of the public hearing is now open for conditional use permit. It is 22-01, right? Okay. 22-01. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? You'll have 5 minutes to provide your comments. As during the public testimony, open testimony before, we ask that you provide your name and whether or not you live inside the city limits. All right. Seeing that nobody is here to testify, I'm going to close the public participation portion of the hearing. I'd like to invite the applicant back up and see if any of the commission members have any questions. Real quick for the record, could you state your name?
I'm Pat Eder.
Okay. All right, do any of the commission members have any questions? I'm going to have one real quick, and we'll just cut to the chase on this. So we have a proposal in front of us to approve this plan with the set conditions. We have an amendment to address one item that was an oversight that's already actually been completed. In listening to your presentation of the questions that are there right now as far as the road, et cetera, and maybe a swell in the back, a retention pond, or whatever it might be, if there is potential of any wetlands environment on the property. Do you want us to put this application on hold until the next hearing, until you can resolve what the owner would like to do? Or would you like us to move forward with the presentation that we have, because to override a road without a lot more information after something we've already ruled on prior to this would be a very big ask for this commission. I'll be upfront about that.
You put it on hold. I guess the next meeting is April 5th. It's a very short time
So
to.
is there enough notice time?
Mr. Chair, I was actually going to confirm with the city attorney that if we continue it to a date certain, I don't think we have to meet the 14-day notice requirement to the 1,200-foot radius again, since they were already on notice of this meeting, and if they had an interest, they would have been present and heard of the continuation. That we would just advertise it in the paper and put it on the city website. But even if that is the answer, it gives us basically 1 week to get all the players into the room and try and come up with a resolution and documentation to bring back to the commission, which is a little bit tight.
I'm putting it to the applicant because the ask is more than I, as a chair, am willing to. I'm just gonna tell you up front, I won't approve that. I'll vote against it if it's motioned and we don't have a quorum. I mean, we won't pass if one of us is against it. We need all three. So I don't wanna put you through that because then we have to start over.
So if the attorney could confirm that if they wanted to continue it to the next meeting, which is April 5th, am I correct in the notice requirements? Would we be able to meet them?
City Attorney, can you address that for us?
Yeah, if the commission votes to hold this over till the next meeting, I don't think you need to have a brand new notice to all the neighbors. I think you can continue with the one that you previously sent for this meeting.
Okay.
And then our other option is just to withdraw the objection and have it approved as it is.
Correct.
And then speak with the planning department and public works.
Right, you may still have to come back here, depending on what the ask is, if I remember right, by the conditions inside of it,
Sure we would,
but.
but we have virtually all summer to get that put together. I do hate to stop them from getting construction as soon as possible. I'm not sure how much we could get done in a week and a half. Have any opinions?
I do have an opinion. My opinion would be.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do we have items scheduled for the next meeting?
We do not.
Possible to set that meeting back even further? Since we don't have any right now scheduled for the meeting?
I would ask the attorney to step in on that because we have a regularly scheduled meeting on the 5th. We would be rescheduling that meeting and that, is it the 5th?
12th, second week, isn't it the
Oh, I
second?
think it was rescheduled.
It's the 5th on this calendar.
Okay.
So if we're doing a reschedule, we wouldn't know we wouldn't know if we had a quorum. We wouldn't have a date certain at that point. So we would have to do the notice requirement. Because the reason we can do it to the 5th is because that's already an advertised date. That's a date certain. At this point, we'd be continuing it to a rescheduled meeting at some unknown date. And then the people.
I would agree.
We could do it. We would have to make sure we pushed it far enough out that we could do the 14-day notice again.
Seeing as we didn't have anything scheduled, I was just trying to see if there was a compromise that could allow this a little more time so that next meeting we could actually have all the facts and make everything happen at that time.
It would just be another notice, that's all, to the neighbors. If you were to push the meeting back further.
Right, correct. So, back to your question, do I have an opinion? I do. And my opinion is if what has been presented to us is acceptable and something that we are willing to work within, especially within the current construction environment, being able to move forward with a permit sooner than later is priceless. And 30 days could be 15% in cost to a construction project, the way things are going at the moment, so it's up to you.
So I guess I'd ask for the permit tonight.
Okay. Fair enough. Do any of the commission members have any questions on the information that was inside the packet now that we know we're moving forward with what is here?
No questions.
None at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Eder. All right, I now need a motion to either approve or deny conditional use permit 22-01.
Commissioner Seals, I make a motion that the resolution of the Wasilla Planning Commission approving conditional use permit number 22-01 to construct a new 11,849 square foot Midas Auto Service Center located on Unit 4, Steam Commons condominium plan.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Sajal seconds.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded. I understand that we need to do a little cleanup on this. Where did I just put it? A motion. And I'm going to make it a motion to amend resolution number 22-01. I move to amend condition number 3, page 162 of 175, to strike part A in parentheses in its entirety and renumber B in parentheses to A in parentheses, which would read 3, submit updated site plan prior to vertical construction as provides, semicolon, and then strike portion A down to B with the rewrite of A, overall plan of the entire lot that identifies Unit 4 along with the entire extension and construction of private easement on the western lot line and the dedication of a 60-foot wide right-of-way and construction of a public road connecting the private easement to the Palmer-Wasilla Highway Extension. Road must be constructed to city standards and in place prior to commencement of the use. Period. Number 2, we'll cover number 1 first.
Commissioner Seals seconds.
Okay. Any discussion on the first motion?
No.
Okay. May I get a, let's see, I don't have anybody online, so we'll do a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. First amendment to the motion carries. I'll make a second motion. I move to amend finding number 11, page 167 of 165, to strike the finding in its entirety and substitute in its following language, the criterion is met, in parentheses.
Commissioner Seals seconds.
All right, the second amendment to the motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
None at this time.
All right, since there is no discussion, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, second amendment to the motion has been made and approved. Is there any further discussion to the main motion with its amendment as amended?
None at this time.
No.
All right, then I'm going to do a vote. All those in favor of approving Wasilla Planning Commission Resolution Serial Number 22-1, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Wasilla Planning Commission has approved Resolution Serial Number 22-01, a resolution of the Wasilla Planning Commission approving a conditional use permit 22-01 to construct a new 11,849 square foot Midas Auto Service Center located on Unit 4, Steam Commons condominium lot. Thank you. At this point in time, there's no unfinished business. We'll move on to communications. What I saw in there was the updated Matanuska Planning Commission agenda that's moving forward. Anybody have any comments on that? All right, then we will open this up to audience participation. If there's anyone in the audience wishing to provide any comments, anything that you would like to on the Planning Commission, you may step forward at this point in time. You have 5 minutes. Please write your name on the sheet, write your name, and whether you live in the city limits for the record. Seeing that nobody wishes to comment, we're going to close public participation at this point in time, and I'm going to open it up to staff comments. Do any of the staff members have any comments?
The only comment I have is just to kind of advise the board. I'm not sure how much we'll have at April 5th meeting. If we don't cancel that meeting, then what I will bring forward is a committee of the whole discussion to just have a brief conversation to talk about staff's plans and the mayor's direction to look at the parking requirements for the downtown area. Once the spring breakup finishes and we can actually measure the roadways and the sidewalks and all of that, we'll be doing that, completing our analysis of the downtown area. Then we're going to do research on what other communities do as far as what are their requirements for on-site parking versus using on-site parking or existing parking, municipal parking lots to meet their requirements. So that would be a working item for this commission going through the summer, probably into the fall. Just let you know, if it doesn't hit April, it'll definitely be on May for some discussion talking points. So just giving you a heads up that that'll be coming.
Okay. City Attorney?
Nothing further from me.
All right, thank you. City Clerk? All right. Commission members, do you have any comments?
I thought it might be a good idea to go around, since it's now officially spring, take pictures of our landscaping areas so that as the new commission goes forward, they can have pictures of what it looks like. And these could be done at a 2-week interval or a 30-day interval or whatever, so that we can have a visual picture of conditions, when things are green, when the snow finally goes off, so you can measure the roadways. I just think it would be a helpful tool to the future commission and to us too, so that we can have a visual time frame.
The May meeting, I'm gonna be out of town a good portion of the month. Is there any way we could do that first week? It's scheduled for the 9th, and I'm leaving actually on the 6th, and I won't be back until toward the end of the month.
9th. 10th? 10th.
Oh, 10th, I'm sorry, yeah.
We don't do Mondays. I couldn't do it because that's football. During football season, that would be out.
If it's needed for a quorum, we'll definitely look at that. We'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
You're available the first week, but probably not the rest of the week, so we'll make a note of that. If we have a quorum, hopefully we'll have Commissioner Burney back and we'll have a replacement one, so
Okay.
maybe that it won't be an issue, but I appreciate you letting us know so that we can plan accordingly.
Oh, no problem.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up this evening and for all you do and keeping an open mind. And with that, class is dismissed, 6:38 p.m.
Michael Schwartz.
has left.